talk AFC first. All right, AFC divisional round. Bills versus the Bengals, man. What happened?
What happened? Look, all right, so we got the Bills, or not Bills, we got the Bengals and we got the Chiefs. Okay.
Yeah.
Before we dive straight into that game, I want to dive into the games previously. Okay. The NFL made a decision to start selling tickets for the Chiefs versus the Bills. Okay. Not only is that one of the most disrespectful things I've ever heard of in my entire life.
Disrespectful.
But it is one of the most unprofessional things that I've seen the NFL do. And they do a lot of things that are questionable and unprofessional. The Bengals have been put up against it this entire season with the coin flip stuff, with the not getting home field advantage, with the Bills and Bengals game being halted and then canceled. Ultimately, they got screwed in that. They've been getting screwed left and right. The NFL has, for whatever reason, put a mark on the Bengals, but the Bengals keep fighting back. And then Joe Burrow's comment saying, "You better start issuing those refunds," just took me out.
Joey Burr, man.
That was ice. That was straight up ice. I enjoyed that thoroughly. Joe Burrow, I'm not a Bengals fan by any means, but I can't hate that man. I mean, that was cold.
That was cold.
So that was disrespectful. Hated to see that for them, because, I mean, that puts a lot of doubt on your team. If the NFL is already selling tickets for the team you're about to face.
I think that motivates you. I think that motivates you.
It could motivate you, but it could also be like, dang, I mean, the entire NFL is already selling tickets for the team we're about to play for the AFC championship. I mean, what does that say about us? Are we that bad that they already predict that we're going to lose?
Yeah.
So I think it's stupid the way that they did that. Anyways, Bengals, Chiefs. I think a lot of people have the Chiefs slated to win this one and go into the Super Bowl. With everything that's happened with Patrick Mahomes, his ankle, I know today he said he was good to go. He was getting some reps in practice. He was healing up, resting. He's got both ankles taped up. Patrick Mahomes has one kryptonite, and it's Joe Burrow. I don't think Joe Burrow's lost to Patrick Mahomes.
He has undefeated against Patrick Mahomes. Yep.
So we're getting a repeat from last season, which was a fantastic game to watch. And now we're getting it again with a slightly injured Patrick Mahomes and a highly motivated Bengals team. I mean, they have been put up against it. They have, they've gone through it, and they've gone through the adversity given to them. And I think they've got the hype, and they've got the best wide receiving core. The only issue I see with them is going to be their offensive line. They need to use Joe Mixon heavily in order to win this game. Overall, I think the Bengals win. I think it'll be a close one. I think it'll be a tit for tat, 7-7 field goal, 7 field goal, or whatever. But I think it's going to be a close one. But I think I have the Bengals edging out. They're making their way to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, definitely like the Bengals over the Chiefs. I know that people are going to be like, what about Pat Mahomes and everything like that. But we saw in the divisional round against the Bills, they kind of got Stephon Diggs and Josh Allen and, all flustered. We saw the argument, and we'll talk about that here in a second after we talk about the divisional rounds and championship rounds and all that. But we saw them get kind of flustered. And then the Bengals, man, they fight. And the Chiefs, I don't know if they have what it takes to stop Joey Burrow, especially when he's undefeated against Pat Mahomes. So it's gonna be definitely a good game. And listen, the king of trash talk, Eli Apple, rushed to Twitter and told Stephon Diggs, have fun in Cancun, and then put the number 3 with the heart, essentially taking a shot at DeMar Hamlin and everything, that situation and stuff like that.
One second, Brandon.
I got you.
I'm trying to find a piece of burnt toast.
Oh, he plays for the Bengals, so you know. Yeah. But
Okay,
and
sorry.
listen, we love the Bengals. Dominique Davis gave us a pleasure, and hopefully maybe one day in the future we can get him back on the show to come on the show and stuff like that. But Eli Apple, no matter where he's been, New York, the Saints, now the Bengals, he talks and is not one of the players that can back it up. He hasn't had a bad season, so I don't want to say he's been utter crap, but he's not like a top 5 corner.
No.
And he's not a corner that you don't want to target. It's not like, oh man, they got Eli Apple, we got to throw the opposite way.
Yeah.
Again, he's just been a
If
solid.
I'm a quarterback, I'm targeting Eli Apple.
Yeah, and so the fact that he rushed to Twitter, and then he did later apologize about the whole Damar Hamlin thing. He didn't take the tweet down. He kept it up, but he did apologize, saying, hey, no shot at Damar. It was kind of whatever. And then Shaq Lawson got in on it, saying, hey, keep Damar's name out your mouth. Unless you want to get beat up. And then Eli replied, where was that energy on the field? Y'all could have used that to beat us. And, Trayvon Diggs, brother of Stephon, got into it and said, how you going to rush to Twitter when you're not even top 5 in your position? So, listen, Eli.
All fair points right there.
Yeah. So that is drama. And the Bengals, and it's not drama you want to have to deal with before a championship game because people are going to be asking every single player on the Bengals, hey, what's this Eli situation? Or what's this Eli situation?
That's why Eli's not top 5. One, he gets burnt. I mean, he got torched in the Super Bowl. He runs his mouth, and he's not somebody who can continuously back it up. He can talk the talk, but he can hardly back it up. So if I am the Bengals staff, I'm bringing him in. I'm like, hey, you need to shut up.
Yeah.
You need to shut that Twitter down until off season or something, because you're bringing a lot of negative light to us right now. We need to focus in. We got a lot on the line right now, and you're terrible.
He's got to focus on Kadarius Toney. I know Toney hasn't put up a lot of numbers with the Chiefs, big time numbers, but he's starting to find his groove with the Kansas City offense, and they're probably going to put Eli Apple on him. And Kadarius Toney is if not the shiftiest person in the NFL currently, and one of the hardest people to take down. So, Eli, focus on trying to just tackle that man before you start throwing shots at Stephon and stuff like that. Obviously, Stephon rushed off the field, threw his helmet, and did all this other stuff. And Duke Johnson, who I didn't even know who was still in the NFL, former Browns, now Bills running back, had to pull him back on the field before he left again, or the locker room. So Stephon said, hey, would you want me to be okay with losing? Obviously not. What is it going to take for the Bills to get over the hump? Because Josh Allen played Superman this year. Stephon Diggs played well. What do they need to do to get over this hump that they're just in?
It's the running game.
Yeah.
I mean, their running game is non-existent. Singletary, he's a good running back, but he's not the running back. They definitely need to get somebody back there that can make plays after contact. They need yards after contact. Singletary is not that guy. They need somebody who's able to be multifunctional. Singletary's not really that guy. I also think they need to get another wide receiver in there to assist Diggs. I know they have Gabe Davis, but Gabe Davis,
he's not elite. He's solid. He's not elite.
I mean, he's all right. He's not the guy that I'm going to sit there and say, yeah, that's the guy I need to be worried about on the field. You have Josh Allen and you have Diggs. That's all they have right now. And it's taken them far. They are a powerhouse of a duo.
DeAndre Hopkins?
If they can get DeAndre Hopkins out there, that would open up Diggs even more, which is an insane, an incredible threat.
That would be elite.
It would open up D-Hop a lot, but I think before they try and find another wide receiver to assist Diggs and Allen out there, I think they need to really focus in on that running game. I mean, I don't know what where they're at in the draft this year.
They're going to be like 27, I think.
But there's a lot of good running backs out there that could really assist them because they got a good offensive line. Their defense is really solid. The quarterback's great. They've got a great wide receiver. They just need one more wide receiver to help them out. I also think that their tight end Knox, he's
solid. They could upgrade.
He's solid.
They could upgrade.
He's solid, but he's solid, but he's not as productive as he should be.
Yeah.
He's a really big tight end. He's also fast. He's really tall, but he just does not produce at the level. He's built. To me, he's built kind of like Travis Kelce, but without the talent.
Yeah.
So I think either trade him off and get someone else in there, get the running game strong, and then the Bills will be an actual complete threat.
Yeah. And to speak on that, the running game is definitely, because listen, your leading rusher should not be your quarterback, Josh Allen. And not only was he the leading rusher, he was still technically the second leading rusher on the team.
Yeah.
1 and 2. I could see a situation and they're not going to get D-Hop, guys. I know Bills Mafia is out there going, D-Hop, yeah, eyes light up. That was more of a thing.
Things have happened.
Things happen. A.J. Brown went to the Philly, Yep.
A lot of things will happen. There's going to be a lot of shakeups this season. So the way this season panned out, we're going to have one of the wildest off seasons.
Oh, it's definitely.
We are going to see Miami's going to get absolutely shaken up. The Bills are going to get shaken up. The Bengals will probably stay the same. I could see possibly something happening with T. Higgins. He might be looking for an extension. He may not get it, so he may be getting out. D-Hop's going somewhere. There's going to be a lot of stuff going on with Arizona. I mean, and then we got the Raiders going on. Then we got Tampa Bay. It's going to be one of the most electric off seasons that we've seen. There's going to be some insane trades. There's going to be some really nice free agency pickups. It's going to be something to watch. So I mean, I can't tell you what's going to happen, but it's going to be wild.
Let's speak hypotheticals here then. Let's say the Bills do get D-Hop. Say they trade their first-round pick later in the draft to trade back up with Arizona, and Arizona sends D-Hop to Buffalo. They get the first-round pick. And then in the second or third round, they get maybe a running back like Zach Evans or Jamari Gibbs, who maybe is not Bijan Robinson, but Jamari Gibbs and Zach Evans are both solid running backs.
I don't think they need a Bijan Robinson. I think they need a shifty. So Robinson he's a tank. If you're in front of him, you might not want to be in front of him. Evans, if you're in front of him, he's not going to be in front of you within like 0.5 seconds. He's gone. So they need somebody that's shifty, because they need somebody that's going to get yards, and they need somebody that's going to get yards after contact. He's a smaller running back than Robinson, so I could see him being utilized more with Buffalo. So if you get Evans and D-Hop on Buffalo and keep everything else the same, maybe make an adjustment at tight end, I could see that the Bills actually being a legit Super Bowl contender. Because, I mean, they've been there. They're on the cusp. Like they've almost got there. They're missing a couple of pieces. They fall short. But you get that running game to where it's like, okay, they've got a threat back there. They got a decent tight end now. And they have D-Hop over here. And they have Diggs over here. I mean, come on.
And now, say if they don't go the draft for running back, there's a lot of big-name running backs in this upcoming free agency market. You have Saquon, who I think is going to re-sign with the Giants, but there is that money talk. And who knows, maybe he goes, I want to go somewhere else. But they got Saquon, Miles Sanders, a couple big names. And those are, I think, two that could fit the offense. Imagine Saquon goes, hey, I'm going to go up north in New York. And he signs with the Bills this offseason. And before the draft, the Bills go, okay, Arizona will give you our first and second round pick for D-Hop. And then third round, maybe get Jordan Battle, replace Jordan Poyer, who is their starting safety, star safety. Jordan Battle's a good safety, probably one or two, top 2 safety in this draft to replace Poyer. I think that's a nice little plan. Will it happen? Probably not. But the Bills do need to play around.
We also got to remember that Odell Beckham Jr. is still a free agent. And Buffalo does need an additional wide receiver, so that could also be a pickup. I know he has the ACL injury that he was rehabbing, and it's happened to him twice, so it's definitely a risk. But he is a phenomenal wide receiver to add in to back up Diggs. And if you get D-Hop in there somehow, plus, so if you got D-Hop,
my man's been on a Madden team.
Diggs, I mean, look. OBJ is not going to cost a lot.
No.
Okay, he wants a lot, but given his record as far as injuries and all this other stuff and performance the past couple of years, because he has not really performed the way that everybody expected him to
Yeah.
once he left New York. His stock has dropped drastically. I know he's hot in the head. He's like, man, I'm worth 100 mil,
Yeah.
something like that. He's definitely not. He's maybe like a 1 year sign on for 10 mil, something like that. Something, add him in, see what you guys can do with him. And I don't know. He's definitely not going to break the bank for any team that gets him.
Yeah. And now I do want to since we're on the topic of the Bills, I'll go ahead and bring it up. Are Stephon Diggs and the Bills on a potential breakup? He's been seen, obviously, we just talked about it, being unpleasant on the sidelines. Him and Josh Allen were going at it. They're not really getting over the hump. Maybe he wants to go to a team that can get him that ring. So do you think they're on a potential breakup? The contract is coming up either this year or next year, or you think he stays with the Bills?
I don't think there's going to be a breakup. Diggs is a extremely emotional player. He loves the game of football. He loves winning. He loves his team. He loves the fans. I mean, he's just extremely emotional. So, after last season, we'll call it the coin flip loss.
Yeah.
Now this year, you're so close to just to lose out again. It hurts, especially when you're that emotionally invested in the game. I don't think it's going to be he's going somewhere else, whatever. I think he's got at least another year with Buffalo, because Buffalo has the talent and the capabilities to make the Super Bowl. They just need like one or two more pieces and they're good to go.
Yeah.
If he does leave, I would be extremely interested to see where he goes.
Maybe the Rams?
No, we ain't got money for that.
He said, we ain't got money. I ain't going to get my hopes up.
We're done for 5 years.
I'm not getting my hopes up. So we're going to talk about the Jags and so we talked about Kansas City a little bit. The Jags, they lost to Kansas City, but they put up a decent fight. Trevor Lawrence played good. He has a bright future. He's definitely turned that leaf, and Doug Peterson has that team on a whole different beat than they were last year. Where do you see maybe the Jags going next year? Do they make it back to the divisional round, and they still need some pieces that will put them over the top? Are they a legit threat next year? Where do you see them at?
I think they're a legit threat. I mean, this was their first year having a competent coach that was able to come in and figure out what pieces need to work with which pieces. They had a great game plan. They were able to finally tap into Trevor Lawrence and get him into a system where he can actually produce, which worked phenomenally. So I don't think there's too much that they need to add. They have a really good defense. Their offensive line is good. Maybe add a star wide receiver. I know they have Kirk. I know they have a couple of pieces there. They got a good tight end. But you get one really good, all-star wide receiver, and they're set, because they're good on. They got a good running back, ETN. They're good to go there. He's solid. I don't think that. I mean, he could be better. He could be a little more explosive, a little more agile. But other than that, I think they're solid. I think they're going to be around for a little bit. I don't think it's going to be the Jags of the old days where it's kind of like the Jags. That's a win for our team. It's like, oh gosh, the Jags.
Yeah,
it's going to be a tough game.
Most definitely. And ETN is electric, man. He really is. He's quickly turned into one of the better running backs in the league, and definitely slept on. He's starting to build that name. And Ryan says, no, they're not. They won't get out of the division. Listen, I know as a Colts fan you want to believe that with all your heart, but they're getting out the division. I'm sorry. They're just the best team in the NFC South, especially with the Colts. While the Colts have some playmakers, they don't have a quarterback. You go to the Titans. The Titans don't really scare me with Ryan Tannehill. And the Texans are in complete rebuild mode. So, I mean, the NFC South is going south, and it's been in south pretty quick.
Yeah.
I think it's the Jags to lose next year. And again, I don't think they're a team to beat. I still think no matter what, it's going to be the Bills, the Bengals, and the Chiefs. But they are definitely a team that could sneak up if they get a couple good pieces in free agency.
I've got by 2025. This is my prediction. 2025, the Jags are going to have the best team that they can have, and they're going to be contenders for the Super Bowl, like fully.
You said in 2025.
Yep.
Yeah, I could see that.
Because I mean, they're young. They're a very young team. They just found their head coach. I think Doug Peterson's going to be around for a long time. I can't see any reason why he would leave. I also think he's going to get Coach of the Year. I think Trevor Lawrence might even get Most Improved Player of the Year, either him or Jalen Hurts. But all right, I think they'll be good.
For sure. So I think we both have the Bengals winning. So if you're a Bengals fan, get ready. It's Super Bowl time. According to the booth, I just don't think that with Patrick Mahomes being hurt, and I know how much of a freak Patrick Mahomes is, but with him being hurt, it definitely concerns me. And Joe Burrow.
One bad play.
Yeah.
One bad play and he's done. So
that's the season right there.